Welcome to my show. It's a guest here. Her name is Roxanne Daleo. Dr. Roxanne, how are you doing, ma'am?
Very well, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity, Dr. Roxanne. Firstly, you are an author. You are also a wellness coach and speaker. Can you please, Dr. Roxanne, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Dr. Roxanne?
Well, I have to say I'm doing very well today, and I started my work with expressive arts in a hospital setting with pediatric patients. Some of them were terminally ill. But what I noticed was that play is the first language of the child, and it's the last activity that usually gets rejected. So I had a very interesting introduction to working with the emotional health of a child and understanding that I could reach them when I would come in with my cart full of arts and crafts material, and right away their face would light up. Contrary to that, if a child became very deeply depressed, I remember a farm accident where a young 9-year-old girl had both of her legs cut when she ran to her father in the field and he didn't see her. And she ran right into the hayer that was whipping up a major amount of cutting of the hay. And he was horrified. He grabbed her and he brought her into the emergency room. And now the the head nurse introduced me and said, she doesn't know that her legs are cut off because in the mind, it's still computing that she has legs and she has pain in her legs that are not there. Can you go in and help her? Can you work with her and play with her and see if you can let her know what's happening? The interesting thing about art is that it takes the inner life of the child and it brings it out. So, without a real conversation, what begins to happen is that they tell you how they're feeling through their artwork.
Very beautiful. And definitely, kids are always very, very playful. Kids just love, to be playful in one way or the other. But they also have some kind of areas that they can also improve themselves and also heal and be happy. Like you said, a lady who cut her leg due to the mistake her father did, using creative arts to also help this child to also bring herself back and be happy. It brings out the sense of uniqueness in a child when creativity is around them. Thank you so much for those beautiful insights. And also, if you've written any book regarding art or anything that relates to healing when it comes to creative art, have you written any book, Dr. Roxanne, or are you planning to write any book in the coming future, Dr. Roxanne?
Yes, I am writing. I actually have a book that's going to come out next year. It's called The Next Generation, How to Use Your Energy for Health Integrity. What I do have is a body of work where my first, I would say, creative work really has to do with the mind body connection and using visualization, music, the sound of my voice, rhythm, and rhyme to narrate a story that takes a child through a relaxation journey. And those beautiful audios are on my website, drroxannedaleo.com. And there are some free samples available for your audience that I encourage you to take advantage of.
Thank you so much for this beautiful insight, Dr. Roxanne. It shows the power of creativity and also the book you're trying to bring out in the coming future time. And also, I would like to dive to the point of creativity. As you said earlier, creativity is powerful. Creativity can bring healing, it could bring joy. It has a lot of magical powers that we could not even see with our physical self. And that is why I would like to drive to the point of creativity to make people understand better how it could help us in our growth and how it could also help us heal in certain times in our life. So many people, most especially the listeners, may feel I'm not artistic, I do not know how to draw, I do not know how to do anything when it comes to creativity. How do you think expressive art can still help them heal and transform even if they don't think or if they don't see themselves as creative, Dr. Roxa?
This is a common concern that many people have initially. And what I say is that it's not about the product, it's really a process. What you're doing is you're taking what's inside and bringing it out for you to see how to heal yourself through the symbols, the language of art. And it's another way that, well, much like dreams, you get insight and you get information about what's happening in your deepest places of you. And so I begin with people who are a little tentative and think they cannot be artistic with clay, because clay is malleable and all they have to do is work with it. It's sensory. It invites all of your multisensory awareness to be raised and for you to engage in a process without really knowing what is the final product going to be. It's like you're working with the clay to create something, and something wonderful happens in the process. You never know what you're going to get.
Completely. Like that shows that clay on its own has its own good work it can do to us in times of need. We do know that we might not be artistic. We do know that we might not be that creative. But if you can sit down, most especially with all this clay stuff, and even gather our hand and do a lot of things, we will not definitely not imagine what we will be able to provide and bring out of those type of things. And those are the beauty of it. We have to just continue to try and see the beauty of what we can continue to do to improve ourselves and our life as well, so we could be more better and more stronger in the life we find ourselves. Also, I would like to dive to the point of anxiety, stress. In the world that we are today, many people are burned out. Burnout is something that is more constant, and a lot of people are filled with anxiety due to a lot of work that are being brought upon them and they have to take care of. And art could be something that would definitely help in one way or the other. For listeners who could be dealing with something like that, stress, anxiety, burnout, what do you think are the simple, expressive art practice? I know you spoke about the clay one that you can do in your home just to make things easier, but if there is any other simple, expressive art practice that they can try at home to release tension and find calm, Dr. Roxa?
Yes, of course. Well, the first thing is that when you're involved in something that's stressing you, you may not realize that you have control over not maybe the stress itself, but your reaction to it. And so I say to moms and even older kids, if you want to stop your critical mind from judging and being the boss of you, because your mind has a mind of its own when you're in a state of anxiety, and you must realize you have agency and you can do something about it. And it begins, in my opinion, with sound. I have a beautiful bell sound here. And I ask them to follow the sound of the bell for as long as they can, because the bell sound cuts through the atmosphere in which you are resting, and you can't help but pay attention to the sound of the bell first and foremost. So I ring the bell 3 times, and then I ask them to turn their attention away from the day. Bring your attention inward to your breathing. Breathing in, filling up. 2, 3, breathing out, letting go. 2, 3. And one more time. Breathing in, filling up, breathing out, letting go. Now we've created a new atmosphere, and I offer them watercolor paints because the watercolor paints are very fluid, and it's actually difficult to create something objective like an object or copy something to paint. It's more like we're just going to be washing away the pain, washing away the anxiety. We make beautiful watercolor forms on a whole large piece of paper where all you do is make ribbons of color across the page. It's very simple. It's not about representation of any particular thing. It's really about the process of getting into it. And what happens is that your mind forgets what happened a moment before because you're into the fluidity of the water and the brush and the colors. And once it's all created and we dry it, I cover it with laminate. I ask them to think of three affirmations, three strong positive statements, because the mind makes no distinction between real or imagined information. It's asking you for the direction. And so if you're saying, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, your brain is going to give you more and it's going to translate into your body. But if you say, oh, this feels good. Oh, I can feel the rhythm of the ocean. I can feel the water of the beautiful watercolor, and it's soothing, and I feel calm, and I welcome joy back into my life. And so I say, all right, let's pick three affirmative statements that you can put onto your watercolor, and then we're going to cut it in strips. And every morning you will have these to remind you. The first one, I am aligned with my highest purpose. I welcome clarity and joy into my life. I speak with calm and positive expectation. Then they have at least a framework to begin their day without chaos and to anchor first in the bell sound that cuts from the mind whatever you were paying attention to, brings your attention inward, and then allows you to continue to direct what it is that your mind is focused on for beginning the day, opening the day, the most important part of the day, to then get outside, put your hands up to the sunlight. Those rays, those beautiful light codes are coming into you through the palms of your hands. Many ancient traditions, indigenous people particularly, knew about the power of the sun and how to harness it every morning. You get outside in the early sunlight and you just welcome the day. I greet the day consciously and just see how things unfold differently for you from that point on.
Also, the power of nature. Also, the
Power of nature.
100% power of nature. And what you said is very beautiful on its own way. That shows that our thoughts, when we have anxiety, when we have things that we're thinking about, which is probably burnout or any other things, we get stuck in the head, and that is why we have to make it free. We have to open it up. And I love what you said, using a bell and using positivity, because when we say we are not doing good, then we'll not be doing good. We have to bring out the sense of seeing positivity, using it constantly through the bell, and releasing every tension that is within us. It could take time, but we realize that we see the sense of calmness, we see the sense of anxiety just coming down drastically. And also the water and other things that you also brought to the table is also very beautiful on its own way, and appreciating nature. Nature is powerful, and the power of the sun, as you said, is very powerful. Early in the morning, if we appreciate nature, it also helps us in many, many ways. And also, when we can do this for ourselves, and during the time of anxiety, during the time of stress, for those who are in a position whereby they are raising children, or they're in a position whereby they might have a friend probably who is raising a child, and they think creativity can also be something that can help them. At the beginning of our conversation, you spoke about a child who you probably got into a relationship with creativity to help the child heal when it comes to when she had a very serious injury. So for children as well, how do you think encouraging creativity through art or through play supports a child confidence and also their emotional growth, Dr. Roxanne?
Yes, absolutely. Because what happens the minute you engage the child's, I would say, own abilities and capabilities, you're telling them that they are able and that they are enough and they have within them an innate creativity. It's it's from God. It's from whatever they believe is sacred and divine. Everyone has their own talents. The sooner you at least have a conversation with your children about what you see their talents and gifts are, the more confident they will grow, the more they will use those abilities and talents to recognize that when you're involved in something that you love to do, time flies by and you don't realize, oh my gosh, I've been doing this thing I love. And when you introduce the process of art, they get a distance from the anxiety. They get to pull back. They get to reflect and reframe and even reshape old beliefs to think, I can't do anything about this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I want you to go back to the bell, listen to the sound of the bell, and clear your mind momentarily. It's amazing how quickly the children acclimate to the idea of using the bell sound. They love it, and there's very little resistance. So, incorporating sound healing, movement is also another immediate way to get a kid out of a stuckness. Let's go. Let's go in the backyard. I want you to hug a tree. Do you know why I want you to hug a tree? Because it will help you to feel the life force energy. Can you imagine? This tree has to pull from its roots all the way up its trunk and all the way to the tippy tippy top branches, all the leaves up there, and give them energy. That's a power that is within that tree. I want you to touch it because I want you to feel that energy. It will be transmitted to you. And if you ever feel weak or bullied or sad, go and touch the branches or better yet, the trunk of the tree, because that's a powerhouse of energy that will reset you into grounding, centering, and empowerment.
Hmm. Beginning, and I love that. It's beginning with the kind of child we know we have. When we know the kind of child we know we are, when we know that our child loves something like this, then we'll know how to talk to them, encourage them, embrace them, the source of the creativity and nature that we find around us, as you said, the bell and other ones that we have around us, and also make them understand how they can use it, and also let them know you have this beautiful thing, you can do this, you have these beautiful things, you can continue to use it to build all this and that. Let them be aware, and also bringing that child to also, as you said, embracing tree, something that will make the child to be happy, because these are things that the child will get stuck in. She will get like programmed on her head, so that when she has situations, when she's old enough, she will say, my mom or my dad actually told me to do this when I'm down, and it will work for them because they've been doing this when they are a child. It will always work for them. So those little things really help a lot in our child. It will make them go to a point whereby they want to be thinking of taking their life or stuff like that. They just use that to calm themselves and make themselves happy, because they will 100% always try or face every single situations in life, whether they like it or not. I would also like to drive to the
Exactly.
point of, okay.
Exactly. I agree 100%. Yeah, finish your thought. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And also, I would like to dive to the point of community. Community is powerful, and we are 100%, you and I will agree that it's something that is really fading in our time currently. But we could also use a point of community, friends, family, groups, to also use creativity to heal ourselves and also bring ourselves to grow. So, expressive art can also build community. What do you think are some ways our listeners could also use this creativity, this arts practices to connect more daily with their family, with their friends, with the group or the community they find themselves today, Dr. Rosa?
Well, there are so many ways that you can incorporate art, but I would go back to the most important grounding we have available, and that is nature. When you have, let's say, a community that is conscious and interested in coming together, having a fire and sitting around the fire, telling stories of how they healed themselves or how they have something that really represents an image or a piece of artwork that they want to share. It's a good way to affirm what it is that's working in the community and how one person can assist another person. We have monthly fire circles that we will go to the farm, the organic apple farm right here in our town, and we come together. And when you're in that circle and you're allowed to bring voice to whatever it is that's going on for you, it's a powerful tool. And when you connect that or incorporate that, combine it with the process of art, what happens is you realize that the process of creating first the quiet space, creating a meditative, simple uh, ritual, opens your unconscious. It's like a doorway to your inner mind and to your heart. And the first step is quiet, stillness. And we're so unfamiliar with that. It's all about the busyness, it's all about
Yeah.
chitter chatter. When you turn that on its head and you say, no, the reason why we're coming together as a community is to rest in the silence, the stillness, the calm, something else very wonderful happens. And you shift from the fight or flight response to the relaxation response. And that's how the transformation begins. For each person in the circle, you are transformed just by the nature of the atmosphere and the energy that's rising up. When you master what's going on inside the realm of your own being, then your mind becomes your ally and the world outside drifts away temporarily, and you realize that everything out there is just an effect of how you're feeling. And when you really anchor as a community into feeling calm and peace, that spreads out to other people, even if they weren't in the circle that you meet the next day.
That shows that nature on its own is 100% very powerful. We do know that we are stuck in this busy world. We are really stuck in the busy world. And we should just give it a try how powerful nature is. No matter the friends or family we find ourselves, no matter the community we find ourselves, to just stay in a place whereby it's connected with just breeze and a very, very deep silence. And we connect with the silence and have some kind of dialogue. We see something very, very different. Nothing is artificial, everything is natural. There is a sense of different feeling, there's a sense of different communication and conversation, and that is how powerful nature is. The nature on its
Very.
own brings the natural healing, it brings the natural strength, it brings everything that we work very hard on the busy world. It gives it to us very easily. Nature on its own is very powerful, and that is why we usually say that we should try our best not to ignore the nature. We do know that every single thing is more easier now. We have a lot of toys that we
Yeah,
could use, social media and stuff like that. But there's something very more natural and divine. I think you want to say
very, very
something.
natural. Yes. And also, there are two more activities that I'd like to share with you regarding how to bring your family together in an exercise. When you go to, I don't know, let's say you go and take a trail walk and you ask your child to pick up some smooth stones, or maybe you're at the beach, pick up some seashells. You bring them home, you sit together, you put a virtue on the stone: peace, brotherhood, love, joy, whatever it is. put those stones in a little basket and put them on the dinner table. And each night, everyone picks one and shares what that means to them. The other way is to go in nature and sit next to a wildflower and ask your child, what I want you to do is listen. I want you to listen deeply. What is it that the wildflower wants you to know? I have taken children to the forest, and we sit there and they have their pencils for drawing and they draw the wildflower. And while they're drawing the wildflower, I want them to tune into what is it that the wildflower has as a message for them that they need for healing, for growth, for confidence. You'd be amazed at what comes from that exercise alone.
Very beautiful. That shows that there are several ways, as you said earlier, the stone, the powerful of going into nature with the flowers and stuff like that to help us heal, most especially our child, because we do know that these things helps us in many ways, the stone and the nature, but we need it more for our children, people that are coming in the next generation, because by the time they get to a stage in life, everything comes. The toys that we have, the social media and technology that we have today could be a pressure. And those things that they've been taught in the childhood, those stones, those connection with nature through flowers and stuff like that, will be things that will help them to heal from a lot of issues that they find in their life. And that is the beauty of creativity and art. We do not know, we might not know how creativity, but creativity on its own is powerful. Art is very powerful. If we could use it well, it helps in healing, it helps us to grow, it helps us to become more stronger in the life we find ourselves. I also want to thank you for those insight that you've brought on board. You've said a lot that is more very beautiful, and I sincerely appreciate you for that, Dr. Rosen. I also learned a lot. And also, there is a question I normally ask during the end of the show, Dr. Rosen. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing would be, Dr. Rosa?
The most important thing that is your best medicine is your connection with whatever you believe is sacred and divine. This is your very powerful center point. We know from research that children who are becoming depressed and suicidal have lost their connection with whatever they believe is divine. And your spiritual life is very important for your mental and physical well being.
That means no matter what we are connected with, we have to just know what we can connect more divine, that is above us, that is much stronger than us, that we can connect to and continue to believe on those divine things. Because that is what is keeping us to stay in hope. That is what is keeping us to stay stronger. And that is what is keeping us to stay motivated. So no matter how divine it is, how we can connect with it and also help ourselves grow is something that we 100% need to build and also understand as well. Thank you so much for the insight, Dr. Roxanne. And also, I want to also thank you for the time and the opportunities on speaking on creativity. Creativity can generate a lot of beautiful experiences. It could generate joy, happiness, peace, and it could also help us connect with nature in the right way. I also want to thank you for the time. Thank you so much, Dr. Roxanne.
You're so very welcome. Thank you so much for the privilege of being with you today.
All right, Dr. Roxanne. Have a wonderful day, Dr. Roxanne. Bye bye.
Bye.